in Indonesia. It's a beautiful little community that is basically built on tourism. What draws people here, of course, are the infamous Komodo dragons. That's the #1 draw. But of course, there's also great, fabulous diving and snorkeling. So when you get here, it's only about an hour from Bali, very easy flight. And when you arrive in this community, it's centered in a small little town with a few churches, temples. It is a Muslim country still, Indonesia, but funnily enough, in this particular area, Christianity is the larger religion. So it's pretty cool to be here at this time of year when you walk by the churches and they're singing Christmas carols in Indonesia. It's just, it's quite beautiful. The major draw, as I mentioned, is the ocean. So in behind me, you can see the harbor, you can see the activity that's going on. This actually isn't too busy of a time because usually the boats do go out earlier every single day. And you can choose between day trips that will take you to various islands. We did one the other day that was just fantastic. It was a one-day trip out in a boat that took you to 6 different islands, 2 of them that do have Komodo dragons on them. You start 5:30 in the morning and head over to one of the major islands, Pador Island, which has Komodos. But the attraction there is the hike to the top. It's not a difficult hike, but it is a lot of height to gain all at once, and it's a lot of stairs, etc. So if you're not in great physical shape, not really recommended, but pretty well normal fitness levels, you can do it easily. So that's the very first stop, and then you go to a pink beach. In this area, they actually have 3 colored beaches, white, black, and pink, which is very unique. So kind of cool to see. And then you go to various islands for snorkeling. And I have to tell you, the snorkeling here is unbelievable. There's spots we've snorkeled with manta rays. We had 5 manta rays right in front of us, playing, jumping, dancing. It was magnificent. The other major highlight here are the turtles. Oh my gosh, the turtles. Underwater, we've gone to a couple of different snorkeling places that basically called Turtle City, where they're coming and going and swimming with you. Just absolutely amazing. The corals here are still beautiful. There's lots of soft coral, hard coral, fish galore, all different sizes. Lots of the little tiny fish swimming in all of the soft coral. So absolutely beautiful here. So that's basically the draw. The restaurants here, nothing to write home about. The dive shops and snorkel shops are great. We do highly recommend one that we just discovered yesterday called Sea Creatures. They've only been open for 3 months. They've got a fabulous boat, and the crew, apart from being good looking, are actually excellent. Felt very safe. When you go out here, you can either choose to dive or choose to snorkel. You go together, which is kind of fun. The groups are small. Yesterday there were 6 of us, 3 divers. Actually, that was 5 of us, 3 divers, and Peter and I were snorkeling. We chose to snorkel on this trip rather than dive for a couple of reasons. One is, we haven't dived since before COVID, so it would mean getting recertified, and we really didn't want to waste a day. And the snorkeling here is absolutely fantastic, so we don't feel like we lost out on anything. And as I was explaining to the divers, what does happen often, especially when you're out on a dive boat and you say, yes, we are divers, they say, why aren't you diving? I equate it to the same as up at Silver Star, where we lived for 10 years on a ski mountain. There's 2 different kinds of skiing. There's cross-country skiing and there's downhill skiing. They're both skiing, but they're 2 totally different sports. And so that's how I look at diving and snorkeling. I'll never stop snorkeling, and who knows when I'll dive again. Hopefully I'll dive again when we get back to Bali and have more time, but they're 2 different sports. So it's not a case of you have to do one or you have to do the other, and both here in the Komodo Islands work together really well. Anyway, would highly recommend it if you could come. There are two ways of to go and visit the Komodos. You can either be what's called land-based, which is what we're doing. We're staying in a lovely hotel called Dive Dragon, which is also a dive shop, which is kind of cool. Seeing the divers and the snorkelers go out every day. And then you take day tours to go out to the islands or the fast boats to go snorkeling. The other option is you can live aboard, which is a really cool idea here, but they vary from very basic budget boats to the deluxe ones that you can rent privately for just a couple, for instance. So what those are is you can go out for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, up to 7 nights, and you live aboard the boat and sleep on the boat so that you're anchored out somewhere. So you do get to see more of the islands. In both cases, though, there's pros and cons. We chose the land-based because we like to